Hello everyone and welcome back to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. You are looking at one of the legends, one of the many sewing machine models that was created by the Singer Company that made it famous. It was one of their earlier designs that would be produced for a long time, and I think I have titled this video, Look What the Cat Drug In, but the cat you see behind you definitely didn't drag it in because that cat is entitled, spoiled, and too lazy to drag anything in. So I wanted to focus on this machine because, for several reasons. One of them is, you say, well, why did I buy this? There are many great machines I could purchase. This machine is the Singer 66. Now this machine, this design, I should say, the engineering behind this machine had its life even earlier. One of Singer's earlier designs was, the fans of the machine call it the Red Eye, because you've seen some of these 66 models will have very ornate designs. It reminds me kind of a paisley type thing. I'm not sure that that's accurate. But those sold, the majority sold in North America had that design. And again, it's referred to euphemistically as the old Red Eye. You will see these in treadle. In fact, that machine was on the market before electrification, if that gives you any idea of how old that design was. And many of those in the United Kingdom have a equally lovely design. I believe it's called the Lotus Leaf, and it has a little more green that shows like the lotus flower or what have you. In any case, this was the machine, the full-size machine, on which the Singer 99, the Singer 185, are based on. And those, of course, are, you've heard me refer to them as the three-quarter machine, and they literally are. If you were to take 3/4 of this machine, you would get those machines. They're equally, strong, but I think the theory was you could buy the 3/4 for a little less, and they weighed a little less. Now, they were often sold in cases as portable machines. It's still like carrying a bowling ball, but you get something really strong and powerful. These are what I like to call the tractors of the sewing machine world. This was also one of Singer's first, if not the first, this is tight, top-loading bobbins. In fact, the Singer 66 or Class 66 bobbin gets its name from the 66 machine. And you can see here it is a top-loading style. So before the Singer 101 or the 201 existed, Singer had a top-loading bobbin. And you've seen, I have videos for those of you who are new to these on how to restore or replace a felt. There's a piece of felt down in here. In fact, you should be able to see it on camera here. This is just a general reminder to those of you, maybe you're getting this machine for the first time. Remember, people often are you're thinking, oh, this is the shuttle area, I need to clean the lint. And you do, because there's lint buildup. But right here, I might want to zoom in just a little bit more so that you can see the red felt. There's a piece of red felt here. And right there. And that felt is, where's my flashlight? That might help showcase the color. That piece of felt is there because it helps, there we go. It helps lubricate the race. Remember, the race looks like a little racetrack, and it is part of the shuttle system that spins so that the bobbin case holding your top-loading bobbin here can simply float and not move while the race does. I'll take the hand wheel and see if it will turn. Actually, it won't turn. This machine's locked up. This machine is a hard luck case. But I purchased it, determined not to let it be abandoned. Now it has, really, well, part of this is dirt, part of the black is gone. There are actually, surprisingly, some of the decals in front. Not all the decals are bad. You have to decide how much of this is rough paint versus just dirt and dust. Now, underneath, and I'm going to be very careful here, and you'll see why in a moment, I'm going to hold this. Why is this machine locked up? Oh boy, look at that. We have something I don't get often. That is not old oil. That is rust. Someone stored this machine in a place they shouldn't, and the moisture attacked it. Now, is it savable? I'd like it to be. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into? Now, you all have seen me restore a Singer 185, and it was I think it was a 185J, and it's in that lovely green tinted turquoise color. That the 185, of course, was a update or a modernization of the Singer 99, and I had one that had rust, and I was able to unlock it. It took a lot of work, a lot of soaking, and blood, sweat, and tears, but I was able to unlock it. I don't know if this one will unlock or not, but I was willing to take a chance. Now, one thing I want to also show you, this machine, of course, was built for many decades. Some of you who have the later 66 models and then later 99 models will see that it has a stitch lever with the potentially to do back tack, right? It doesn't even, I don't even think it says reverse. I think it says back tack on it. And that was a update. Believe it or not, reverse was an update. That's how old the design is. And this knob here, of course, this is before we had reverse. This machine doesn't have it. So you sew, you pick up your presser foot with the needle in the fabric, you turn the fabric around, and you finish your sewing. Our ancestors did it without complaint, and they were just fine. Now, you adjust your stitch length over here with this knob, and it actually turns. But again, some kind of moisture was underneath this machine. I don't know what. When this machine was made, if you get one of these, you're not missing a numbered dial. They didn't have them. The people who bought this machine would dial in their tension, and they just figured it out. They were really smart. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to think that this might be a replaced spool pin. Not unusual. Of course, the date of production I'll have to look up, but I do see let's get a better view here. You see, of course, it's dirty. You can't really see it. Get the dust off. You see there's a serial number here. That will tell me when it was made. Now, take a look at this. This is, I think, the first time I've ever shown one of these. What drew my attention to this machine, other than its lovely, big, heavy hand wheel pulley over here, is this. Now, this is an original Singer-made Simanco, which you will often see on Singer accessories and parts. This is basically a hand crank. And, of course, you'll see it lives here, and, of course, you would hand crank. Now, my theory on this is that before sewing machines were electrified, and when they were, of course, you had to pay for state-of-the-art tech, there were people who used sewing machines, of course, in treadle tables. But not everyone either had a treadle table or could afford them. Remember, sewing machines did not often come with tables. You had to buy them extra. Well, what were you going to do? There was no electric. I mean, how are you going to make the thing run? You made it run with a hand crank. Now, hand cranks, if you see them listed for sale, look at them very closely. If they look beautiful, they could be restored. I hope to restore this one. And however, there are new reproductions. They're made in China, I believe, or at least the last time I checked, and they may function fine. I don't know, but they don't. You can get them very inexpensively. If you want an original Simanco hand crank, they do not come cheaply. And I don't know if this is because as soon as people could get a treadle or an electric motor, many of them left the hand cranks behind. People who still use hand crank machines, there are different reasons for this. I have noticed that people who have boats, who do canvas sail work, people who cannot always rely on electricity, you're out on the water somewhere and you need to repair your sail, you might want something like this. This is what I've been told anyway by sewers. So we'll see. I'm going to have to go through the process of taking this off without harming it, right? And I think I've had one before. If I've had a hand crank, it was not an original Singer or Simanco. So this is what it looks like from the side. And of course, we have that wonderful old school bobbin winder, which I think I've demonstrated in videos. I love watching it run. The tire, strangely enough, looks not dry rotted. So someone replaced the tire, and I can tell already the spring still works. That's a shocker. But this needs tending to. I'm going to have to get this all apart. I think it's loose, and it's going to need some conditioning anyway. But there you go. This is the first time, I think, you all tell me if I'm wrong, I've got so many videos now, I can't always remember, that you have the original design, of which, of course, it's copied. The patent ran out on this many moons ago. And you can get, again, imported copies. I don't know if the Japanese made any in the 50s and 60s. Maybe they did. And, of course, it bolts right up to the machine here. And you can use it on other singers. Now, one thing that just occurred to me to remind you, if you decide, let's say you have a singer or any sewing machine that you want to use one of these hand cranks on, notice that the hand wheel, right, has spokes. It's not solid. You have to have spokes, for at least for the vintage hand cranks, to attach, right? Because notice when I'm not going to force this because this machine is locked, but notice this, it grabs hold of the wheel this way. And there's one. I'm just seeing this one, I call it the finger here. And there's a little piece of rubber on the end, right? And it basically moves the hand wheel. You can't obviously use that on a solid wheel machine. I know that seems obvious, but I'm sure there are people who bought these and then realize, oh, it won't work. What else to say about this Hard Luck K66? Just to remind you all, I'm going to lower the camera here and show you. The 66 is one of those sewing machine designs, along with the 3/4 versions, the 185, the 99, and there may be another model number in there somewhere. You cannot, this is not a tabletop ready-to-go machine. This machine has to be elevated at a minimum in a case or in a table in order for it to function. Because the way this machine was designed, the mechanicals, when you start to get the machine to run, the mechanicals will not clear the surface the machine is sitting on, and basically the machine will not work. So if you buy a 66 or a 99 or a 185, any machine with this design, just remember that you cannot simply pop it up on a table like many machines and just use it. Not a problem. You can get Singer sewing tables and even the cases. You can get them all day long. They're not rare or hard to find, but keep this in mind, because if you get this machine, you see it for sale and you say, oh, this is great, I want to take it home and use it. Even if it's not in the sad state that this one is in, even if it's beautiful, it will not run. You will not be able to use it until you elevate it. You've got to put it up into something to get clearance underneath, right? Because all of these mechanicals down here, you see the support for the machine was not designed to hold this mechanism, right? This mechanism is not suspended with really tall, long feet, and that's just how they designed it. I can't tell you why, but that's how it is. So let me know what you think. I don't buy rusted machines often because there are so many other candidates and they just require so much less effort and toiling away, as you've seen me do in the past, and I'm still hope springs eternal for that Kenmore that somebody gooped up with grease. But rust is even tougher, right? It's not the same as old oil. I did manage to rescue, after great effort, that 185 that had rust. I will try this one. I'm going to give it the college try. But if I can't, I can certainly use the parts on this for another 66. I don't want to do that. I would love to bring this example back. But again, the real draw for me was this wonderful hand crank that are hard to find in original condition that were made by Singer. And I know it sounds a little silly, but I have noticed that everything that Singer made, even down to the nuts and bolts, the quality of the steel, the quality of the construction was just superb. There's nothing wrong with reproductions. I've had to get reproduction parts to save old machines. These rubber tires are obviously reproductions. There's nothing wrong with them at all. So I don't want to sound like a snob, but there's a reason why when you go online and you see hand cranks that are original, they sell for a whole lot more than the new ones do. I don't know if that's a quality reason or people just love to collect them. But anyway, thanks for watching, and hang in there with me as I eventually get around to trying to salvage this machine that was apparently left for dead at once upon a time. And I will end up, I'll have to go in and look up the serial number to see exactly what what year this machine was made. I have no idea if the crank is original to the machine. You don't want to make that assumption, but we will do, hopefully we'll find out with a little more investigation. Thanks for watching.